In the past 4 years, I've secured over $500,000 in business credit for myself, successfully helped over 800 people repair their credit, and helped over 150 people secure over $15 million of 0% business funding to actually grow their businesses with. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through every single step I would take to start securing up to $150,000 in 0% business funding from complete scratch. Even if your credit needs a little work right now, and I'm talking every single step of the way. So you have a literal blueprint that you can use to secure the capital you need to actually change your situation in life and business for real. Quick disclaimer, this video is going to be around 15 to 20 minutes. So if you don't have the focus to watch a video for that long, even though it can literally get you everything you've ever wanted, I'd probably just click off now. But for those who own a business and want to succeed in actually getting six figures in funding at 0%, watch this all the way through and implement everything I'm about to reveal to you. So we're going to go ahead and start off very basic. What is 0% business funding? So if you have no idea what 0% business funding is or how to get started, this guide will go over everything you need to know. A 0% business funding is using high limit business credit cards with introductory offers giving the clients anywhere from 9 to 18 months of 0% interest to start or scale a business. This is by far the most advantageous strategy to start or scale a company because you're not giving up equity, getting eaten up by high interest loans, or using your own money to start. Acquiring 0% funding requires your personal and business profiles to be dialed in and optimized before starting the process. And I'm going to show you step by step, even if you're starting from scratch. So bad credit or no history. If you have bad credit due to collections, charge-offs, late payments, repos, and bankruptcies on your report, you'll want to start to remove them immediately. Repairing your credit will take time and can seem like a lot of work, but thankfully, I've found a software that makes repairing credit easy as clicking a button. Using a software that's called Credit Score IQ can help you dispute negative items and remove them from your credit file for only $39.99 a month. The link to it is this. I'll go ahead and click on it so you guys can see it. Basically, gives you all three bureaus, a credit score tracker, and then once you get in there, you can actually start auditing and seeing what the negative items are and dispute them using consumer protection laws very, very easily with the click of a button using this software. The software helps you use consumer protection laws under the Fair Credit Reporting Act by auditing your credit report and matching the negative items on your report with the correct laws to dispute them. It's as simple as creating an account, importing your report, and clicking the items to dispute and sending the disputes right away. Now, it's important to start the disputes as soon as possible because credit repair can take 1 to 12 months depending on your file to remove all the negative items. If you have no credit history or less than 1 year worth of credit age, you're going to want to start building up positive accounts. So you can start building positive accounts by applying for a secured credit card. A secured credit card, for example, is where you deposit $1,000 and the bank gives you a limit of that amount via credit card to utilize and start building positive history. Examples of solid secured credit cards are the Capital One Platinum Secured Credit Card. I used Capital One when I was building my credit, and I love their travel points and features. This one comes with no annual fee, no credit score required to apply, and you can deposit $49 to get a $200 initial credit line. So it's very easy to start building credit that way. Another one would be the Discover It secured credit card. I have a Discover credit card that I've had for like 4 or 5 years. Great cashback card, great relationship to have. No credit score required to apply, no annual fee, and you earn cash back. So you can just start with $200 and get going from there, and you'll earn 2% cash back at gas stations, restaurants, and up to $1,000 in combined purchases each quarter automatically. You'll want to use those cards for at least 6 months before applying for unsecured credit. Another good resource to help your credit age is Rent Reporters. This service allows you to report your rent to the credit bureaus, and you can even backdate to when you first start paying rent. The site to get set up is this. I'll go ahead and click on this to show you guys what it looks like. And I think you can backdate up to 2 years. So basically report your rent to the credit bureaus and start building your age ASAP. So if you're starting from zero and you want to get to at least 5K in credit lines, if you have no credit right now, you'll just want to make sure you follow the steps listed above. After creating relationships with the secured card creditors for 6 months, you'll want to apply for their unsecured credit cards. Discover and Capital One have great unsecured credit cards, such as the Discover It card, which has great cashback rewards, and they usually give out generous limits. I think when I first got mine, initially I started with 4,000. Now it's up to 12,000 on a single card. Capital One has a great unsecured credit card, such as the Venture One card, which is a travel point card, so you can start building up points to travel for free. And that's I'll be going into travel hacking and all those strategies in a later video because I can get really in depth. There's a lot of different strategies to use. Both cards usually have a 0% introductory period, so you won't get eaten alive by interest rates. Don't make the mistake of applying too early. You really want to make sure you have a decent score or relationship with them for at least 6 months. And getting from 5K to 20K in credit, now that you've established a solid profile and you have a good payment history with the creditors you've chose, now it's time to start building your limits even more. After 6 months of using the unsecured cards, most of the time the creditors will give you a credit line increase without you even having to ask for it. To make sure that you get this increase, you'll want to use your cards and pay them off in full every month. This demonstrates to the banks you're trustworthy and you can pay your debts. If the banks don't give you a CLI, you can request one by calling the number on the back of your card and speaking to a representative. Just make sure before you call, your balance is paid off in full and the payment has been posted to your account. You're only going to want to ask for a 2 to 3 times increase of your available limit, nothing more, or you'll likely be denied. And getting from 20K to 50K in personal limits. Now, this is the part where we really build out a strong personal profile for banks to throw money at you and become undeniable for 0% business funding. Once you've established a good payment history, you've built out your credit limits, and you have a solid amount of credit age on your account, we can start creating relationships with the big banks. Make sure before you apply to the following banks, you don't have any new inquiries on your report for at least 3 months. Super important. When you start applying for things too frequently, the banks will see that it's desperate and they don't like to lend money to desperate people. You really want to make sure that you wait before you apply for the big banks. So we're going to start by opening up personal accounts and personal cards with Chase and Amex. These two banks are crucial for getting amazing business funding results down the road. A good 0% personal card for Chase would be the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. A good 0% personal card for Amex would be the Amex Blue Cash Everyday card. After getting approved, you're going to want to try and do a CLI immediately to help establish high limits with them. Make sure all your cards are on auto pay so you never get a late payment, and use the cards for everyday expenses as needed. And this is the juicy part. 50 to 150K. This is the moment you've been waiting for. You've completed all the previous steps. You have at least 20,000 to 50,000 in personal credit limits, a good payment history, and a solid credit age. Now you're ready for business funding. Now that your personal credit profile is dialed in and optimized, first step is creating an LLC, but not just any LLC. It's super important that you set it up properly so banks don't decline you off your industry. You're going to want to create an LLC through your Department of State website in your available state. This will give you the least expensive route to creating your entity. Now, you want to make sure that your LLC name is as vague as possible and avoid words like real estate, trucking, insurance, investors, etc. Instead of using words and related words, you can use words like solutions, group, consulting, and even simple letters for your LLC name. The reason this is important is because you don't want to give the banks any reason to disqualify you if you're in a high-risk industry such as real estate, trucking, or insurance. It will also help if you have it'll also help you have versatility if you ever decide to pivot into a different venture down the road, because you will already have an aged LLC and you can just switch into something different. Next, you're going to want to set up a professional address by getting a virtual office in a high-rise building in your city. You can use sites like Regus. I'll go ahead and click on this so you can see what it looks like. I've used Regus and I continue to use Regus. You'll just search your area and look for virtual offices. A great resource to have a virtual office. You can also get a registered agent to add a layer of protection for your business as well. The lowest risk industries that we see get the best funding results are consulting, e-commerce, and marketing companies because of their low overhead and high profit margins. Now that you've set up the LLC, you can apply for your EIN for free through the IRS website. I'll go ahead and click on this so you can see what it looks like, and literally step-by-step instructions, making it very, very easy. Now, it's important to select the proper NAICS code, the North American Industry Classification System code, for your EIN, because this will determine your risk classification to the banks. A good example of low-risk NAICS codes are 541611, which is Administrative Management and General Management Consulting Services. I use this for most of my LLCs because it gives you the most versatility to do whatever you want. The NAICS code 454110 is e-commerce and postal stores are the third level code of the retail trade sectors. NAICS code 541613 is marketing consulting services. Now, once you have all those set up, you can start opening up business accounts with the following banks such as Chase, Amex, and Truist if it's in your state. You're going to want to fund the accounts with at least $1,000 in each account. Make sure, this is super important, guys, make sure you have not had any recent inquiries on your profile for the last 3 months prior to the application process. Let the account season for at least 2 weeks and go in and apply in this exact sequence. You're going to want to apply for the Chase Business Inc. Unlimited card first. Then shortly after, if you don't have an immediate approval with your limit, call and ask for the status. Once you're approved, you will go ahead and apply for the second Chase card, which can be any other business credit card that has 0%. And if it's not 0%, then you can get approved and move the limit over to Chase, which is a little known hack. After you get both cards approved, you will want to call in and do a CLI on each card. But the key here is to call for each card separately and make sure you do this in a short time frame so you can get those pushed through. Then Amex, you will apply for both Blue Business credit cards at the same time and repeat the same process as you did with Chase. After the approvals with both banks, you can move on to Truist and get their Truist Future credit card. And you guessed it, repeat the same process as before. If you got any declines from the banks, just simply call the bank's reconsideration line and ask for a manual review of the application. And if they still decline, hookah, hang up, call again. The hookah method works about 60% of the time and works for approvals and credit line increases. Now that you've gotten your 0% business funding, you're going to want to deploy it in your business very smartly. Make sure you don't blow the bag on unnecessary items. Don't go buy a Lambo or anything like that. A good resource to create would be an overhead expense sheet. You can find some online for free, such as this one that I found with a very quick Google search. Just click on that so you can see. Just click on that. You got the PDF, fill it out. And making an overhead expense sheet will allow you to write out all necessary business expenses to make sure you have a pulse on what your business is going to cost to operate. That's super important, guys, because some of the things that I did, I threw money into my business without actually tracking everything, and it caused me to spend a lot more than what I needed to. So making sure that you have a good blueprint of what you're actually going to be putting the money into before you actually start allocating money into marketing and all these other things for your business. You want to see exactly what your costs are going to be, what your projected revenue is, and what your projected profit is. And it does not matter how much revenue you're bringing in if your expenses match your revenue. You want to be profitable. So making sure that you have as much profit from, your business and your revenue, because the difference between your revenue and your expenses is your profit, and the profit is your freedom. We did not start a business to create another job for us. And we definitely don't want to go into debt creating another job for us. So you want to make sure that you're as profitable as possible and have as much freedom as possible. You're going to continue to use the cards in your business and make sure you only spend what you can afford to pay. So use it wisely. I can't stress that enough. Before the 0% interest rate is over, you want to make sure that you bring down the utilization to as low as 20% or less. This is so key that you do this, because when you bring it down to that amount or lower, you can go for an additional round of funding and repeat the process over with another LLC. And the 20% rule goes for personal and business credit cards. All revolving business and personal cards need to be at 20% utilization each card or less for the best results. And that's the blueprint that I would follow if I were looking to go from 0 to 150,000 in 0% business funding over time. Now, if you follow everything I've just given you correctly, there's no doubt that you'll start getting 0% and go on to 6 figures in funding. But Having said that, I won't pretend you won't encounter some difficulties along the way doing it on your own. You have to figure out how to find the right 0% limited time offers before they're gone, how to manage your new capital, establishing relationships with banks. This can take a really long time to figure out how to play the game properly, which can be enough to get overwhelmed and feel like giving up. We use our top tier relationship managers at banks nationwide to assist our clients in getting massive approvals in 0% funding, which can make the difference between 50K in approvals and 350K in approvals. So if you want to avoid all of that and want my guidance on how to reach six figures in 0% business funding in 30 days or less, you can go to the first link in the description and book a call with our team. Inside, there's tons of testimonials from our clients who have changed their life with the capital that we have helped them get. Also, if you own a business and want to reach out and speak with me directly to discuss if you're eligible for business funding, just click the second link in my bio. Thanks for watching again, and make sure to subscribe and like this video. I'll see you in the next video.